So, what was the demonstration that you saw me doing? Being gluttonous in desperation, or am I too hungry? Why I'm eating, having pieces of bread, holding this one here, holding this one here, biting, not finishing this, picking up another, dividing, having this, drinking. What was I demonstrating? How can you interpret such behavior? What message am I sending over there? Am I too hungry? Am I desperate? Am I gluttonous? Or what is the message sent over there? Today, I'm going to be talking about the concept of desperation from a political perspective. We have a movement that we call the social rescue movement. And the aim and objective of the social rescue movement in Sierra Leone from the beginning was for it to unite the people, bring the grassroots together, we, the sufferer, out of a desperate move to help and change situation, uniting ourselves because of the prolonged political chaos that has been going on within our society from the day of our civil war until the point that we found ourselves today. Every subsequent political party that have ever won election, they have not been able to do anything that really going to impact the people of that society. This desperation, it brought about the ideology that we want to create a new political party that are going to serve as a neutral body to help the whole of Sierra Leone. But unfortunately, human beings being human, we have not learned our lesson. And the same desperation has actually fall into the social rescue movement from another perspective. Desperation can lead to positivities, and at the same time it can lead to negativity. So you can be desperate and you push for a change, a positive change in your life. Like, for example, you came out of a society or you came out of a family that doesn't have education, and out of that desperation of illiteracy or being illiterate in your family, you as an individual, you strive for a change, you strive for education, you are desperate, you take that every step required for you to get some form of education, no matter the strenuous, no matter the constraint, no matter the difficulty that you face along the way. But out of that desperation of you not desiring to become an illiterate like the rest of your family, you push yourself to the extreme level and you try to acquire education. Positive desperation. When the RUF invaded Sierra Leone, they have a slogan: no more slavery, no more master, and power to the people. Out of the desperation of the colonial exploitation and the few elite which these colonial masters put in power, who they create to be our gods in our society, the RUF came with the ideology that its goals was to get rid of those colonial supported government so that the Sierra Leonean society gonna be totally free in the hands of the Sierra Leonean people. But at the same time, out of that desperation and a gluttonous or like a greed that is almost always embedded in our society, the RUF, they themselves, they raptured from within and they were not able to fulfill their objectives. For the Sankor, instead of him and his boys and his girls for them to fight against the Sierra Leonean government, who has always been an enemy to the people, they started killing civilians. In some of my writing, I talk about the distinction between the Liberian MPFL, led by Charles Taylor, and the RUF in Sierra Leone. They were distinct. Charles Taylor, he came as a rebel leader, he left as a president. For Sanko, he came as a rebel leader, he died as a traitor. There is too different between those two people. So sometimes in the desperation of the Sierra Leonean people in those days, that they were not able to confront their society, and they started blaming the Liberian, or like the Liberian fighting force, as the cause of their war in their country that led to the devastation of the society. In some of my writing, I make it very contra. I clarify for people to see the difference. If Charles Taylor was actually ruling the RUF, was in control of the RUF, there would have never been cutting of hands in Sierra Leone. That was something embedded within the Sierra Leonean war. The war in Liberia never do that. So let me don't just change up the topic. Today, as like I said, I'm going to be talking about desperation in a definition, in a concept from politics. Desperation politics is what I'm going to be talking about. Desperation politics refers to a strategic approach where political actors, driven by existential fear of losing power or relevance, employ extreme, unethical, and or divisive tactics to manipulate public sentiment, undermine democratic norms, or consolidate authority. This phenomenon often emerges in context of institutional instability, social polarization, or crisis, where traditional governance strategies falter. Rooted in urgency, it prioritizes short-term survival over long-term stability, frequently exploiting fear, misinformation, and cultural division. I'm going to stop there. Desperation politics. I am bringing this thing because for the past for the past several months, out of desperation, some of those people that want, that desire, that aspire to take leadership role in the social rescue movement, they deploy fear of opponent, people like me. They are spreading false information that I am not a good person, especially some of those people sitting in the higher leadership hierarchy of the social rescue movement. They are talking to genuine people there because they are afraid of contest. They are afraid of debate. They are afraid of people challenging their ideology. Out of desperation, they go into this kind of what I describe as this desperation politics. They sow fear, they show a poor leadership. They are taking away the democratic principle that the social rescue said it meant to support. When they are given speech, instead of them focusing on the people to bring about unity, they are showing seed of division, desperation. Desperation, like I said, it can go into twofold. It can be positive desperation and negative desperation. And when you deploy political desperation or desperation in policy that fall in this category, that you want to show fear and you want to oppress opponent because of your lack of leadership quality, you feel that you can, is by so doing is the best way you can sell yourself. You are sending out a divisive message that is not meant to help the society. Sierra Leone has been suffering for so many years because of divisive policy that is the result of desperation. People want to stick in power when their tenure or Their leadership is poor. They continue to push themselves. They refuse to adhere to the will of the people. Desperation politics. If social rescue movement, if our social rescue movement want to survive, it should stop deploying desperation politics. I see sometimes, some of the things that I've known. There are people, they are showing seed of division, especially against me. I am a realist. I'm a realist. I believe in logic. I believe in promoting. I believe in supporting a young generation because I believe leadership is transferable. Leadership should be transferred. I shouldn't be gluttonous with leadership or whatsoever, and I start forcing myself, my will on people as if I am hungry and chewing all these things at once. You shouldn't be that desperate when you talk about politics. One thing that one of my pastor once said to me, he said, you need to be humble. He said, if they invite you to a party, don't rush to take the highest seat. By so doing, allow them to give you a place to sit. Because if you rush and take the highest seat and that seat was not meant for you, when the real owner of that sitcom, they're going to uproot you and then place the person and you will get another lesser seat. So take your time so that when you are invited, let the people put you where you belong by your character, by your performance. But in desperation politics, you see people pushing themselves, shoving themselves in people's mouth. And when you shove yourself in people's mouth, you open door for criticism, you open door for scrutiny. And when that happens, people always think about the negativities that will pop up for them to criticize you. But if you relax and you give people that privilege for them to pass their own judgment and deal with your situation and sees that yes, you are striving for something of a greater good, those scrutiny will never confront you. It takes time. People will overlook your weakness and focus on your positivities, on your strength. But when you are a desperationer, politicians like people like Donald Trump, trying to sanction the whole world because he wants to promote his mega, which is Make America Great Again policy, you see, even your allies, people that are being with you, they will desert you. The leadership in the social rescue movement, they are playing with fire. Out of desperation, they have made themselves to be so short-sighted out of desperation. And out of the same desperation, the leadership, because of the force we push that we are pushing for registration, we are ignoring the reality. Some of the kind of people that call themselves politicians that are trying to become aspirant, their lack of leadership quality which has been manifested in hundredfold, we are still putting blind eyes to that. Don't push yourself out of desperation, because at the end of the day, the ship gonna sink with every one of us. I'm gonna stop there for now. Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Oscar Dawe.